Comedian Tim Dillon questions Erika Kirk's endorsement of Vice President JD Vance to be the 48th president.
In the Saturday episode of The Tim Dillon Show, the podcaster and comedian said it's weird and uncomfortable to see Erika endorsing Vance. Let's listen.
The guy got shot 3 months ago, and she walks out to a pyrotechnic display, and then she goes, "We're going to elect JD Vance." It's weird that that's where her head is at. It's difficult for many people to relate to. It's not relatable for people that talked about how Hollywood isn't relatable.
Here's some more from Dillon.
Hollywood is out of touch. This looks a lot like Hollywood to most people. And to go out through a stream of fireworks and sparklers and stand there in a glittering pantsuit and talk about electing JD Vance 3 months after your husband was killed, many people feel that there is something off about that.
In the opening speech of TurningPoint USA's annual national conference in Phoenix, Erika Kirk did endorse Vice President JD Vance for the 2028 presidential election. Let's take a look.
We are going to get my husband's friend, JD Vance, elected for 48 in the most resounding way possible.
Meanwhile, Tim Dillon also said that looking at the TPUSA event with many right-wing MAGA personalities publicly sparring makes liberals like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani, quote, look great in comparison. Can we just talk about the Erika Kirk thing? Because I really was trying to, as a mom and somebody who has grieved different things and have been around people who've grieved in their own ways. There's part of me that's like, some people grieve by like throwing themselves into work and, doing whatever she might be doing. But then the other part of me that has a child is like, well, if you lose the father of your children, that 3 months after, I'm assuming, is completely something that no one can relate to unless they've been through it. And to see all the ways that she's been forward facing and decidedly became the leader of this organization, it just seems like there's moments where it's like, anybody watching this, like Tim Dillon was saying, would be like, man, this feels a little bit off for the moment, unless she's one of those people who just throws herself completely in work. But it's like, your kids are home, you just lost your husband. Like, you don't have to do all this stuff. You don't have to come out with the sparklers. You don't have to be the face of this whole thing. There's a lot of people probably raising their hands in TPUSA, and you understand the organization way more closely than I do, that maybe could have done the job, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think if it's true that Charlie wanted Erika to do it, her kind of coming out hard and fast and trying to sort of take the reins the way that she has kind of prevents perhaps that sort of jockeying for position internally. But it's difficult. I mean, it's also possible when you're grieving that intensely, like a lot of people get really numb. Mm-hmm. And so you can put on this sort of public display of bravery, and then behind closed doors, it's an entirely different thing. So I do try to give her a lot of grace on these issues. There were a lot of comments about whether the endorsement was too soon and why do it now. Like, typically you would want to wait to make an endorsement of that nature closer to the election to really give it more weight and to get the most media attention possible. And it kind of shows that Erika at her core is not a political operator in the way that Charlie Kirk was. Tyler Boyer was actually asked, he's one of the top TPUSA officials, was asked about this decision by Reagan Reese at the Daily Caller at AmFest. And his argument was basically, as we have all of this infighting on the right, being very clear about who TPUSA is going to support in 2028 prevents like a Biden-Kamala type situation where the party is confused and not knowing who to back. So it kind of takes that off of the table. But there's just so much time that I'm not sure that an early endorsement is going to necessarily prevent all of these fractures that we've been talking about.
And we have to remember the audience that Turning Point USA is speaking to, which is young people. Young people are known on both sides of the aisle to challenge what has been historically just handed to them. Like, no, we don't want this. And so when I think about all the different fighting that we're seeing coming from within MAGA's base that was happening at this America Fest, and then see what young people who were cheering for all people that came on there and had different thoughts and feelings, for you to just tell them we're going for JD Vance when JD Vance has not done a debate against other Republican nominees. There's people like Marco Rubio who have said they're not going to run, but seemingly, has been waiting his turn longer than JD Vance has, so he may still want to run. Or somebody new, young, in the next 3 years that may want to step up to the plate and move forward. It seems like an interesting time to say that because young people are going to rally behind, and it could be surprisingly whoever they think has their best interest. And I think when we watch what happens with healthcare and how many Republicans go on record to say they will or will not support moving things forward, like subsidies that were for Obamacare or not, but when people see the implications and how it directly impacts them, then they're going to have a lot to discuss about, oh, well, where did all these people lie on these issues? And then they can make those decisions as policies really get implemented and they see how they're affected.
Well, and how is Vance going to handle the rest of the Trump administration, particularly if Republicans lose the midterms as heavily as anticipated and it becomes a lame duck presidency? Like, what does that mean for JD Vance? How is he going to continue to have this national profile? What policies is he going to advance in an environment that's much more difficult for them in terms of how much political power they have? So I think the next 3 years are going to tell us a lot. And I personally wouldn't make an endorsement this early.
Well, that does it for us on Rising Live. Look out for more exclusive YouTube content coming your way today. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to The Hill's YouTube channel so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen on the go, we're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts. See you next time.